There is a name that, at its origin, was synonymous with pure terror. Imagine a stormy night in Victorian London in 1897 when an Irish writer named Bram Stoker opens the gates of hell with the tip of his pen. He didn't just create a character, he unleashed a collective nightmare that has refused to die for over a century. Dracula, a name that today sells movie tickets and t-shirts at airports, but initially sparked fear and fascination in equal measure. Stoker never visited Transylvania or the castle he wrote about, but he studied old maps, manuscripts, and dark folklore in London's dusty libraries. He sought a connection between Eastern European superstitions about strigoi and the lust for power among Western nobility. In his vision, Dracula was not just a vampire. He was a cursed count, a man who possessed forbidden knowledge and a will of iron that allowed him to defy death. His isolated castle, located in the Bargal Pass on what is now the territory of Romania, becomes a symbol of solitude, mystery, and lurking danger, a place where legend and reality meet. But where did this thirst for blood in literature come from? Stoker borrowed elements from local legends about moroi, restless spirits who return from the grave to haunt their families and communities. Still, he needed a name that sounded regal and authoritative. In his research, he came across the figure of a Wallachian prince named Dracula. He didn't know much about him, but the resonance of the name was perfect, a word that evoked power, mystery, and fear. In Latin, Draco means dragon, but in the Romanian of the 15th century, it began to mean devil. This linguistic ambiguity between nobility and terror sparked the imagination of the writer. Thus, a real historical figure was swallowed by fiction and transformed into a vampire capable of becoming a bat, a mist, or a shadow. The global audience began to believe that Transylvania was a land of dark magic and night creatures, forgetting that behind the Fang Count's mask lay a much more complex historical figure. A figure whose real life was far bloodier than any page of fiction. A name that, at its origin, was synonymous with pure terror, yet today has become legend. We leave the world of horror fiction and enter the harsh reality of the 15th century on a land caught between empires. We are talking about Wallachia, a historical region located on the modern-day territory of Romania, trapped in a constant conflict between the ambitions of Catholic Hungary and the relentless expansion of the Ottoman Empire. This was a world where alliances shifted quickly and betrayal could be fatal. Here, on the land that is now part of Romania, Vlad III is born, the second son of Vlad Dracula. His father had been a Knight of the Order of the Dragon, a military brotherhood dedicated to protecting Christianity, a strategic force defending Eastern Europe from Ottoman expansion. The Order's symbol was a coiled dragon, an image that would define Vlad's name and destiny. Vlad's childhood was not one of a pampered prince, but of a political prisoner. At just 11 years old, he was sent as a hostage to the Sultan's court, guaranteeing his father's loyalty. There, he learned Turkish military strategy and, above all, the psychology of terror. He watched how enemies were executed, how traitors were punished, and how fear could be used as a weapon. This experience shaped his character and turned his mind into a subtle, relentless instrument of power. When he returned to the throne in 1456, Vlad found a country devastated by the corruption of the boyars. They had betrayed his father and elder brother, burying them alive, and chaos ruled the land. Vlad's revenge was calculated and theatrical. At an Easter feast, he invited all the guilty boyars, only to lift them from the table and force them to march hundreds of kilometers through the Carpathian Mountains to Poenary Fortress. Those who did not die along the way were put to grueling labor, and the younger ones ended up impaled, turning punishment into a vivid message of fear and respect. This was the birth of the nickname, the Impaler. Execution was not merely punishment. It was a political message, a warning to anyone who might dare betray or invade. The stake was inserted carefully to avoid vital organs, prolonging agony for days. Vlad made no distinction between thieves, traitors, or invaders. The legend of the Golden Cup left at a well, which no one dared to steal for years, demonstrates just how deeply fear had been instilled in the population. The greatest test came from Sultan Mehmed II, conqueror of Constantinople. Vlad refused to pay tribute and responded with a shocking gesture. He nailed the turbans of Turkish envoys directly onto their heads. Then followed the Danube campaign, where he used guerrilla tactics, burned supplies, and left a scorched land, paralyzing the Ottoman army. The climax was the night attack, when he infiltrated the Turkish camp disguised, hoping to assassinate the Sultan. He failed, but left behind an image that would terrify all of Europe. A forest of roughly 20,000 impaled bodies, the ultimate example of psychological warfare. Vlad was not merely a ruler, but a master of terror used to defend his borders. How did this brutal yet patriotic military leader become the image of an immortal vampire? The answer lies in medieval propaganda. After being betrayed and imprisoned, Vlad's image was destroyed through German pamphlets portraying him as a monster feasting among corpses and delighting in human suffering. These exaggerated stories survived for centuries in European libraries, where Bram Stoker would discover them hundreds of years later. His father's name, Dracula, was the missing piece of the puzzle. The real history of the prince, as a defender of Christianity and a skilled military strategist, was erased, replaced with the image of an immortal vampire. Vlad the Impaler and Dracula became one and the same in the collective imagination. A man transformed into a symbol, a life reinterpreted as myth. The circle closes here. What began as an honorable name in a chivalric order became, by the will of history, the name of the world's most feared monster. Vlad the Impaler is Dracula, but Dracula will never be the true Vlad.